In the small town of West Pittston, Pennsylvania, a haunting unlike any other took place between 1974 and 1989. The Smurl haunting, a terrifying series of paranormal events, would leave its mark on the family living there. But this wasn't just any haunting. It was a terror that grew more violent and more sinister with each passing year. And it all began when a family, just trying to live a normal life, moved into a house that was anything but ordinary. In 1974, Jack and Janet Smurl, along with their daughters, moved into a charming home on Chase Street. The house was modest, but it was perfect for their family. Little did they know that their new home had a dark history, one that would soon reveal itself in the most horrifying ways imaginable. At first, everything seemed fine. The house felt old, but comfortable. However, as the days passed, the family started noticing strange things. Doors would slam shut on their own, lights flickered without reason, and strange, foul smells filled the rooms. But these occurrences were just the beginning. Soon, the haunting would take a much darker turn. At first, the strange events were subtle. Knocks on the walls, an odd coldness in certain rooms. But the Smurls shrugged it off. That was until the night of the terrifying encounter. One evening, as Jack and Janet were preparing for bed, a deafening noise filled the house. The sound was described as an unholy shriek, so loud it rattled the windows. The couple rushed into the living room, only to find the entire house shaking. Objects began to move on their own, some even flying across the room. It was as if an unseen force was wreaking havoc on their home. But the worst was yet to come. As the haunting escalated, the Smurls realized they were not dealing with simple poltergeist activity. The spirit, or spirits, haunting their home were malevolent, and they made their presence known. The family soon witnessed more than just objects moving. Janet began hearing voices, whispers in the dark, calling her name. It wasn't long before a terrifying physical presence emerged. The family described seeing dark, shadowy figures lurking in the corners of their vision, figures that would sometimes materialize fully before them, grotesque, monstrous shapes that seemed to watch them, waiting for the right moment to strike. The Smurls' lives had become a nightmare. Objects not only moved, but they were now being violently thrown across the rooms. Janet was physically assaulted by the unseen force. She would often wake up with scratches, bruises, and marks on her body, as if she'd been attacked in her sleep. Jack Smurl, desperate for answers, reached out to paranormal investigators and priests for help. The haunting intensified, with the entity growing stronger and more aggressive. It seemed to revel in tormenting the family, feeding off their fear. Desperate, Jack and Janet contacted renowned paranormal investigators, Ed and Lorraine Warren. The Warrens had investigated several high-profile hauntings, and they believed the Smurl family's home was deeply cursed. Upon entering the house, Ed and Lorraine immediately felt the intense negative energy, and soon discovered that the family was dealing with more than just a typical haunting. The Warrens confirmed that the house was indeed possessed by a powerful and malevolent spirit, possibly an entity connected to the land's history or an ancient curse. They performed several exorcisms, but the demon resisted every attempt, fighting back with increasing violence. Despite the Warrens' efforts, the haunting did not end. The Smurls had hoped that with the exorcism, they could finally live in peace, but the evil presence refused to leave. For years, the family fought an ongoing battle with this unseen force that never ceased its torment. In the final years of their ordeal, things reached a fever pitch. Janet was attacked more frequently, and the house felt colder, darker. The family couldn't live in peace, not even in the daytime. Eventually, after years of torment, the Smurls were able to move out of the house, leaving behind the evil force that had haunted them for so long. But did the entity truly leave? Was the evil spirit confined to the house, or did it follow the family elsewhere? The Smurl haunting remains one of the most chilling paranormal cases in history, a reminder that not all spirits are at rest, and that some evil never truly goes away. The Smurl family may have escaped the physical house, but the terror they experienced would never leave them. The Smurl haunting is not just a story of a family terrorized by a ghost, but a testament to the darkness that can dwell in the world beyond our understanding. The Smurls were brave, but in the end, even they could not escape the power of an entity bent on destroying their peace. Let this serve as a warning. Some houses are never just houses. Sometimes they are portals to something far darker. Some places are simply haunted, others are cursed. This is the terrifying true story of the Ammons family and the house that became known as the Demon House of Gary, Indiana, a case so disturbing that even seasoned investigators refused to step inside. It all began in 2011 when LaToya Ammons, her mother Rosa Campbell, and her 3 children moved into the modest rental home on Carolina Street. At first, everything seemed normal, just another small house in a quiet, Midwestern neighborhood. But something was waiting for them. Before the Ammons family arrived, the house on Carolina Street had a long, dark past. The land it was built on had been rumored to be a site of tragic deaths and even occult rituals. Local legends speak of disappearances dating back to the early 1900s. Some claimed the area had once been a burial ground, while others whispered of strange ceremonies held in the woods nearby. In more recent times, previous tenants reported unsettling occurrences, doors slamming on their own, whispering voices, and strange, shadowy figures seen lurking in the corners of rooms. No one had ever stayed in the house for long, but the true horrors would only be revealed after the Ammons family moved in. It started small, unexplainable footsteps at night, the sound of shuffling feet on the wooden floors when no one was there. Objects would go missing, only to reappear in strange places. Then, the disturbances grew more sinister. One night, Rosa saw a shadowy figure pacing back and forth in the living room. Thinking it was a trick of the light, she turned away, only to hear deep, guttural breathing right behind her. When she turned back, the figure was gone. Then, in the dead of winter, a swarm of flies appeared. Not a few, but hundreds, buzzing, crawling, swarming over windows and doors. It didn't make sense, and when Rosa Campbell tried to kill them, they would just keep coming back. It was as if the house itself was alive, rejecting their presence. Neighbors started noticing something strange about the house. One man claimed he saw shadowy figures moving behind the windows when the Ammons family was out. Another refused to walk past the home after hearing strange, echoing whispers from its porch. One night, Rosa and LaToya heard a loud pounding noise coming from the basement. When they opened the door, an icy draft rushed past them. Armed with only a flashlight, they stepped down the old wooden stairs and saw it. A dark figure standing in the corner, its glowing red eyes staring back at them. The air smelled of sulfur. The temperature dropped so suddenly that their breath became visible. And then, the figure moved. Soon, the terror turned personal. LaToya's children began to act strangely, speaking in deep, guttural voices and convulsing without cause. One night, her youngest son was seen levitating off his bed as family members screamed in horror. Medical professionals were left baffled. The children were examined at a local hospital, where nurses and doctors witnessed the youngest boy walking backward up a wall. It was impossible. Yet it happened. Desperate, the family turned to the church. Father Michael Maginot, a local priest, was called in to bless the house. But as he prayed, something unseen lashed out. Lights flickered, furniture shook, and an invisible force clawed at him. This was no ordinary haunting. He contacted the diocese and received permission to perform an exorcism. What followed was one of the most intense documented cases of possession in modern history. Some believe evil can attach itself to a place. Others think it follows certain people. But one thing is certain: the Ammons family's terrifying ordeal at the demon house of Gary, Indiana, remains one of the most disturbing and well-documented cases of demonic activity in modern history. Are such horrors real? Or are they born from fear and suggestion? You decide